Take a breath, right now, feel where you are. Not where you plan to be, not where you promise yourself you will go, but where you stand in this moment. Life has been waiting on you, not because you are incapable, but because you hesitate, you pause, you think again, you delay. And delay steals days, then years. You tell yourself you are preparing. You tell yourself you will move when the timing feels right. But readiness is an illusion. It never arrives. The world does not reward waiting. It responds to movement. There is a choice in front of you. Stay where you are or step forward before comfort agrees. You already know what needs to be done. You feel it. This pressure is not here to crush you. It is here to wake you. Stand up. Focus. Decide. This is the moment everything changes for you. Chapter 1. The enemy is delay. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lacking intelligence or talent or vision. What stands in your way is quieter than. It does not shout. It whispers. It tells you to wait. It tells you to think again. It tells you that one more day will make things clearer. Delay feels safe. Delay feels reasonable. Delay feels like control. But delay is the enemy. It does not attack all at once. It erodes, slowly, patiently. It steals momentum while pretending to protect you. And every time you hesitate, a smaller version of you is reinforced. Not weaker, just unused. You know this feeling, standing at the edge, looking down, measuring the distance, calculating every possible outcome. Your mind races ahead while your body stays still. You call it planning, you call it preparation, but deep down you feel the truth pressing against you. Overthinking is not intelligence, it is disguised fear. Fear of failing, fear of being seen, fear of stepping forward without guarantees. And fear is clever. It wears the mask of logic. It tells you to wait until you are ready. But ready never comes. It never has, it never will. Momentum is fragile, it lives in motion. The moment you stop, it fades. Hesitation breaks the rhythm. You start doubting decisions you already made. You reopen doors you already closed. You drain energy questioning what your instinct already knew. And confidence does not survive in that space. Confidence is not built in thought. It is built in action. Speed creates confidence because movement proves to you that you can handle what comes next. Every step forward makes the next one easier. Every pause makes the next step heavier. There is a lie you have told yourself before, maybe many times. One more day, one more night to think, one more bit of information, one more sign, but one more day turns into one more year. Potential left untouched begins to rust. Skills unused lose their edge. Vision fades when it is not acted on. You were not designed to sit at the edge forever. You were designed to jump, not blindly, but bravely. Action does not mean recklessness. It means commitment. It means choosing movement over comfort. Your old self loves delay. Your old self feels productive while staying still. Your old self waits for permission. The version of you that is emerging does not. This is where the conflict begins. You feel it now. The tension between who you have been and who you are becoming. One side wants certainty, the other wants growth. One side wants comfort, the other wants progress. You cannot serve both. Every time you delay, you choose the past. Every time you move, you choose the future. Pause for a moment, not to hesitate, to recognize what is happening inside you, the tightness, the urgency, the awareness that time is not slowing down for you. This is not pressure meant to overwhelm you. It is pressure meant to focus you. Relief comes when you stop fighting it, when you accept that discomfort is part of forward motion. When you understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but movement in its presence. Decide now, not perfectly, just clearly. Decide to move before comfort. Comfort will always ask you to stay. Growth asks you to go. Action makes you brave, not the other way around. You do not wait to feel strong. Strength arrives after you act. You do not wait to feel confident. Confidence follows execution. This is how it has always worked. This is how it works for everyone who rises. Feel the shift when you choose action. The mind quiets, the body aligns, energy returns. Relief is found not in stopping but in committing. You stop carrying the weight of indecision. You replace it with direction. Even if the path is not fully clear, you are no longer stuck. You are moving, and movement changes everything. Say it quietly, or say it loud, I am ready. Let it land. Not as a promise for tomorrow, but as a declaration for now. I move now. These words are not motivation. They are identity. They mark the moment you stop negotiating with delay. The moment you choose to trust yourself enough to act. This chapter does not end with comfort. It ends with resolve. Because, NCE, you see delay for what it is. You cannot unsee it. And once you stop hesitating here, you will start to notice how many other areas of your life are waiting for the same decision. The edge is behind you. The jump has begun. Chapter 2. Clarity comes after action. Slow your breathing. Let your shoulders drop. There is nothing wrong with you for wanting clarity. It is natural to want to see the full path before you move. The mind searches for certainty because certainty feels safe, but safety has never been the place where growth lives. You have been taught quietly and repeatedly that clarity comes first, that once everything makes sense, you will act, that once the fog clears, you will move with confidence. This belief sounds responsible. It sounds intelligent. It sounds patient, but it keeps you still. Clarity does not arrive in silence. It does not appear while you wait. It does not reward hesitation. Clarity responds to motion. Direction is created by movement, not by thought. When you stand still, every option feels heavy. Every decision feels risky. But the moment you step forward, something shifts. The noise begins to organize. The questions start answering themselves. Not all at once, not perfectly, but enough to keep you moving. There is tension here, you feel it. The desire to understand everything before committing, the fear of choosing wrong, the pressure to get it right the first time. This is where many people stop. They wait for confidence to appear before they act, but confidence is not a prerequisite. It is a result. It grows from doing. It strengthens through repetition. You do not think your way into clarity. You act your way into it. Movement creates direction because movement creates feedback. When you act, the world responds. When the world responds, you learn. When you learn, your path sharpens. Execution turns theory into truth. It replaces imagined problems with real information. And real information is powerful. You can adjust to reality. You cannot adjust to imagination. Overthinking feeds on what has not happened yet. Action anchors you in what is real. You do not need the full map. You need the first step. Step first. Feel the ground beneath you. Notice what holds and what shifts. Then adjust later. This is how progress actually works. Not in a straight line, not without friction, but always forward. Every movement teaches you something. Every attempt gives you data. You learn by moving. Even mistakes carry clarity, especially mistakes. Imperfect action is not weakness. It is power. It proves that you trust yourself enough to begin. It proves that you value progress over pride. Waiting for perfection is another form of delay. Perfection asks you to hide. Action asks you to show up. And showing up is where growth begins. You were never meant to get it all right immediately. You were meant to build strength through repetition. Feel the pressure rise now. The awareness that waiting for clarity has cost you time before. Opportunities passed not because you were incapable, but because you were cautious. This is not regret. This is recognition. Recognition brings relief. Because once you see the pattern, you can change it. You are not trapped by your past habits. You are free to choose differently now. Action simplifies the mind. When you move, the endless loops quiet down. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop negotiating. You commit. And commitment brings relief. Not because everything is solved, but because you are no longer divided. Your energy aligns. Your focus sharpens. You feel lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of indecision. Imagine the version of you who trusts action. Not reckless, not rushed, but decisive. Imagine how they move through the day, how quickly they choose, how calmly they adjust. They do not need everything to be clear. They trust themselves to figure things out along the way. They understand that clarity is earned through engagement, not granted in advance. That version of you exists, and every action you take brings you closer. This is empowerment, not the loud kind, the quiet kind that settles into your body. The kind that reminds you that you are capable of learning in motion, that you do not need permission to begin, that you are allowed to start before you feel ready. Relief comes when you accept this truth, when you stop waiting for certainty and start trusting process. Say it now with intention. I decide who I become. Let it anchor you. This is not about forcing outcomes. It is about choosing movement, choosing engagement, choosing to participate fully in your own life. Clarity will meet you there, not at the starting line, but along the path. You are already moving. You feel it. The resistance is shifting. The questions are still there, but they no longer control you. You understand now that action is not the result of clarity. It is the source. And as you continue forward, something deeper begins to form. Not sync clarity, but identity. The identity of someone who acts, someone who learns, someone who leads themselves into the unknown without fear. Chapter 3. Identity before strategy. Everything begins with how you see yourself. Before plans, before tactics, before decisions. Identity moves first, strategy follows. You do not act based on what you want. You act based on who you believe. This is why some people move quickly while others hesitate. Winners act fast because they see themselves as winners, not someday. Now, they do not wait for proof. They create it through action. Pause here, feel that truth settle. You have ideas, you have goals, you have strategies waiting in your mind. But strategy without identity collapses under pressure. When difficulty appears, you default to who you think you are, not to what you planned. Identity is the operating system. Behavior is the output. Change the identity and behavior changes naturally. Your old self believes thinking equals progress. The thinker analyzes. The thinker weighs options endlessly. The thinker wants certainty before commitment. The thinker feels productive while staying still. There is no judgment. That version of you was trying to stay safe, but safety has limits, and those limits are now visible. You are no longer satisfied with potential. You want execution. You want results. You want movement. The leader inside you feels different. The leader does not wait to feel ready. The leader decides, then adapts. The leader understands that clarity sharpens through motion. This is the shift happening. You are stepping out of the role of observer and into the role of participant, not because you know everything, but because you trust yourself enough to act. Identity shapes behavior in quiet ways. If you see yourself as someone who hesitates, you will hesitate even when opportunity is clear. If you see yourself as someone who executes, action becomes natural. You do not force it. You embody it. This is why installing a new self-image matters more than learning another technique. Techniques fail when identity resists them. Build the image now. See yourself moving with purpose. See yourself deciding without apology. See yourself adjusting without drama. This is not imagination for comfort. This is rehearsal for reality. Acting in alignment with your future self is how you become them. You do not wait to arrive before you behave like the person you respect. You behave first. Identity catches up. There is tension here. Let it rise. The pull between who you have been and who you are becoming. One part of you wants to stay familiar. The other is ready to lead. This tension is not a problem. It is proof of growth. Pressure forms when identity begins to change. You feel stretched because you are stepping into a larger version of yourself. Stand up, not physically if you cannot. Internally, stand up in posture, stand up in mindset, stand up in decision. Leaders do not shrink when responsibility appears. They expand. They meet the moment. Acting like the one who wins is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is choosing to move as the person you are committed to becoming. Command your actions now. Small or large, it does not matter. What matters is consistency. Every executed decision reinforces identity. Every completed action sends a signal to your mind. This is who we are now. Execution builds evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief strengthens identity. This loop is powerful, and once it begins, it accelerates. Feel the relief that comes with alignment. When thought and action move together, friction disappears. You stop questioning every step. You trust the process because you trust yourself. Relief is not found in certainty. It is found in commitment. You are no longer split between desire and action. You are unified. Say it again. I rise. Let it carry weight. Rising does not mean everything is. It means you do not stay down. Say it again. I execute. Execution is not about speed alone. It is about follow-through, about showing up again, about leading yourself when no one is watching. This chapter is not about strategy yet. That comes later. This chapter is about who you are choosing to be. Once identity is set, strategy becomes simple. Decisions become cleaner. Movement becomes natural. You are no longer asking, what should I do? You are asking, what does someone like me do next? Hold that question. Let it follow you forward. Because once you answer it consistently, the thinker fades, the leader steps forward, and the person who executes begins to shape the life that once felt distant. Chapter 4. Silence creates power. Slow down, settle into this moment. Power does not rush, it gathers, it listens, it waits without wasting time. Silence is not emptiness, it is intention held steady. You have lived in noise before, explaining yourself, announcing plans, seeking confirmation, and each time something leaked. Energy drained, focus scattered. Silence now calls you back, not to hide, to sharpen. Execution does not announce itself. It moves without permission. It grows without applause. The loudest move is made quietly because quiet protects momentum. When you speak too early, you invite opinions that do not carry your vision. You invite doubt disguised as concern. You invite delay disguised as advice. Silence keeps your power intact. It allows your actions to speak when they are ready. There is calm here, a deep calm, the kind that settles your breathing and clears the mind. In silence, you hear yourself again, not the noise of expectation, but the signal of direction. You realize how much strength is wasted trying to be understood, how much focus is lost trying to be seen. Power does not need witnesses while it is forming. Think of the silent predator. It does not chase loudly. It does not warn, it studies. It waits. Every movement is measured. Every ounce of energy conserved for the decisive moment. Silence is discipline in motion. It is restraint guided by purpose. It is knowing when not to speak so that action can land with force. Depth builds here, under the surface, like pressure underground. Invisible, unimpressive at first, but relentless. Pressure does not rush its work, it accumulates, layer by layer, until release is inevitable. This is how real progress forms: quiet work, repeated effort, no announcement, no negotiation, just execution. Moving without validation feels uncomfortable at first. You are used to feedback, used to reassurance, used to being acknowledged. Silence removes those familiar signals, and in that absence you meet yourself. You learn to trust your own judgment. You learn to measure progress internally. This is where independence forms. This is where leadership strengthens. Keeping plans private is not secrecy driven by fear. It is protection driven by wisdom. You do not owe your future to anyone's opinion. You do not need approval to begin. Silence allows you to move cleanly, without distraction, without comparison, without pressure to perform prematurely. You build first. You reveal later. There is strength in discipline. Discipline chooses silence when ego wants noise. Discipline stays focused when attention is available elsewhere. Discipline understands that every word spoken is energy spent, and energy is finite. Spend it on action. Spend it on repetition. Spend it on progress. Silence is not passive. It is active restraint. Feel the depth now, the quiet confidence forming beneath your thoughts. You are no longer rushing to explain, no longer reacting. You are centered. You are contained. This is power, not flashy, not loud, but undeniable. Silence sharpens intention. It removes excess. It leaves only what matters. Focus, narrow your attention, not on everything, on what moves you forward. Silence makes focus possible because it removes the need to perform. You are not here to impress. You are here to execute. Focus is a choice repeated daily. Silence makes that choice easier. Withdraw not from effort, from noise, from unnecessary conversation, from constant input. Withdrawal creates space. Space creates clarity. Clarity strengthens decision. You do not need to disappear. You need to disengage from distraction. Silence is not isolation. It is selective attention. Execute. Let action replace explanation. Let results replace promises. Execution in silence feels different, cleaner, stronger. You feel yourself becoming more grounded, more reliable, more dangerous in the best sense. Because when you move quietly, nothing is wasted. Say it now: I move in silence. Let it settle. This is not about hiding ambition. It is about honoring it, protecting it until it is strong enough to stand on its own. Silence is the space where commitment matures. You will notice a shift. Fewer words, more action, less need to prove, more consistency. Relief comes with this discipline. You are no longer scattered. You are contained. You trust the process because you are in it. Silence does not mean the world will not hear you. It means they will hear you when it matters, when action has weight, when results speak clearly. Until then, you build, you refine, you strengthen. Stay here in this quiet resolve, because what you are building does not need announcement. It needs time, and the pressure is still rising. Chapter 5: Speed is a muscle. Speed is not something you are born with. It is something you build, just like strength, just like endurance, just like focus. At first, movement feels heavy. Decisions feel slow. You hesitate, checking yourself, questioning each step. That does not mean you lack ability. It means the muscle is untrained. And untrained muscles do not respond quickly. They respond cautiously. With repetition, everything changes. There is calm in understanding. You are not flawed because you move slowly. You are simply early in the process. Speed grows through use. Every decision you make strengthens it. Every action you take sharpens it. This is not about rushing. It is about reducing friction between thought and movement. The faster you act, the less space fear has to speak. Decisiveness can be trained. It begins with small choices, simple movement, low-risk actions done with intent. You decide, you move, you learn. Each time, the gap between thinking and doing becomes shorter. You stop overloading decisions with meaning. You stop treating every choice like a verdict on your future. You understand that progress favors momentum, not perfection. There is tension as this idea settles, because slowing down has felt like control, because hesitation has felt like intelligence. But control without movement leads nowhere. Speed creates clarity because speed creates feedback. The faster you move, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you improve. This is the compounding effect most people miss. Fast decisions compound because they create more attempts. More attempts create more experience. More experience builds confidence. Confidence removes fear. This loop feeds itself. Momentum does not arrive magically. It is built through consecutive actions. One decision stacked on another. One movement following the last. Momentum rewires fear by proving it wrong repeatedly. Fear survives in stillness. It grows in imagination. It weakens in motion. When you move quickly, fear does not have time to construct stories. It cannot expand. It cannot negotiate. It shrinks. Speed keeps you in reality. Reality is manageable. Imagination is endless. Speed anchors you to what is. Feel the build now, the shift from understanding to readiness. You are no longer asking if you can move faster. You are recognizing that you must. Speed is not chaos. It is commitment without delay. It is choosing to act before doubt organizes itself. It is trusting that you can adjust as you go. Decide, let the word land. Not someday, not later. Now, decide without drama, decide without apology. Decision is the ignition point. Without it, nothing starts. Decide does not mean you know everything. It means you choose a direction. Move, action follows decision immediately. Movement locks the choice in place. It turns intention into reality. Even a small move counts, especially a small move. Movement proves seriousness. It tells your mind that this matters. Repeat. Repetition trains the muscle. One fast decision is an exception. Repeated fast decisions become identity. This is where execution becomes habit. Habit removes resistance. Habit removes emotional negotiation. You act because it is who you are. Feel the energy rising. This is the transformation peak. The moment when hesitation loses its grip, your pace increases, your posture changes, your focus sharpens. You are no longer waiting for confidence. Confidence is forming behind you step by step. Speed creates relief, not exhaustion, relief, because slow indecision drains more energy than fast action. Carrying choices weighs heavier than making. Once you move, the burden lifts. You feel lighter because you are no longer stuck between options. Confidence follows speed every time. Not because speed guarantees success, but because speed guarantees learning. Learning builds trust in yourself. Trust is the foundation of confidence. You stop fearing mistakes because you know you can correct them quickly. Momentum begins quietly. Then it grows. Each action pushes the next one forward. You no longer need motivation. Motion carries you. This is why speed matters. It removes the need to convince yourself. You are already in motion. Notice how your thinking changes when you move faster. Less overanalysis, more instinct, more presence. You become responsive instead of reactive. Fear loses its complexity. It becomes manageable. It becomes background noise instead of command. You are training now. Every choice is a repetition. Every action is a set. Speed strengthens with use. There is no finish line, only refinement. You do not slow down to feel safe. You speed up to feel alive. Say it now, I act without hesitation. Say it again. I act without hesitation. Let it echo. This is not a wish. It is a decision, a commitment to momentum, a refusal to stall. You will still think. You will still plan, but you will not stall. You will not freeze. You will decide, move, repeat. This is how execution becomes automatic. This is how speed becomes natural. Hold this pace. Feel the power of it. Because once momentum is built, it demands direction, and direction is coming. Chapter 6. Discipline beats motivation. Settle yourself here. Not because this part is easy, but because it is necessary. Motivation feels powerful when it arrives. It lifts you. It excites you. It convinces you that change is close, but motivation is temporary. It fades with it disappears when conditions shift. Discipline remains. Discipline does not depend on mood. It does not ask permission. It acts because it is required. You have waited before. Waited to feel ready. Waited to feel confident. Waited to feel inspired. And sometimes it came. Sometimes it didn't. Life did not pause either way. This is the truth you are stepping into now. You do not wait to feel ready. You move because it's required. Because your future demands consistency, not excitement. There is calm in accepting this. Relief, even. You are no longer chasing feelings. You are building structure. Discipline removes emotional negotiation. It simplifies action. You stop asking how you feel and start asking what needs to be done. This shift changes everything. It turns effort into reliability. Motivation wants reward now. Discipline understands delay. Delayed gratification is not punishment. It is investment. It is choosing long-term strength over short-term comfort. Each time you show up without immediate payoff, you reinforce control. You teach yourself patience. You train your nervous system to hold effort without escape. This is where tension rises, because discipline exposes habits. It removes excuses gently but firmly. It asks you to act even when emotion resists, even when energy is low, even when no one is watching. This is uncomfortable at first, not because you cannot do it, but because you are not used to trusting yourself this way. Showing up without emotion is leadership. You lead yourself when you follow through regardless of feeling. You do not abandon commitments because the mood shifted. You do not negotiate standards because resistance appeared. You execute because you decided. This is maturity. This is strength. This is self-respect in action. Pressure builds here. Not external, internal, the pressure of responsibility, the pressure of knowing you are capable of more consistency than you have shown before. This pressure is not judgment, it is invitation, an invitation to rise into reliability. Do it anyway. Let the words cut clean. You do not wait for alignment, you create alignment through action. Discipline does not mean force, it means follow through. It means honoring decisions after emotion fades. Show up not perfectly, not loudly, consistently. Showing up compounds faster than bursts of motivation ever will. Each appearance reinforces identity. Each follow-through sends a message. This is who I am now. Execute, action taken without drama, without delay, without explanation. Execution under discipline feels quieter than motivation. Less excitement, more certainty. You move because you said you would. That is power. Feel the transformation peak rising now. This is where many stop, where comfort calls, where old patterns ask for relief. And this is where discipline becomes real, when continuing feels heavy, when stopping feels... This is the moment that defines you. Push through, not with aggression, with resolve. Discipline is calm persistence. It is steady pressure applied over time. It does not burn out, it builds. You are becoming reliable. Let that identity form, reliable to yourself, reliable in action, reliable in follow-through. Reliability creates trust. Trust creates confidence. Confidence creates leadership. This chain does not break when motivation disappears. Notice the relief that comes after execution. Not excitement, relief. the quiet satisfaction of integrity. You did what you said you would do. That feeling compounds. It stabilizes you. It grounds you. Discipline gives you freedom. Freedom from mood. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from inconsistency. You are no longer at the mercy of how you are guided by what you chose. Hold this identity. Carry it forward. Motivation will return sometimes. Welcome it when it does, but do not depend on it. Discipline will carry you when it leaves. Stay here in this steadiness, because the next level demands reliability, and you are building it now. Chapter 7, Pressure is Proof. Calm settles when you stop fighting pressure and begin to understand it. Pressure is not a signal that something is wrong. It is a signal that something is working. Growth announces itself through resistance. Expansion is never silent inside the body or the mind. When pressure rises, it is not trying to stop you. It is trying to shape you. You have felt this before. The tightness before a leap. The weight before a breakthrough. The moment when effort increases and comfort disappears. Many people retreat here. They assume pressure means danger. They assume discomfort means failure. But pressure is proof that you are close to growth. It appears when you are pushing past old limits. Think of weight training. The muscle does not grow in ease. It grows under load. Resistance tears fibers so they can rebuild stronger. Without resistance, there is no change. Without pressure, there is no expansion. Your life works the same way. When demands increase, when effort intensifies, when the work feels heavy, growth is underway. There is tension now. Let it rise. The part of you that wants relief. The part of you that wants to step back. This moment tests interpretation. You can see pressure as punishment, or you can see it as preparation. One weakens you, the other strengthens you. The meaning you assign determines the outcome. Resistance appears before breakthroughs because systems resist change. Old habits push back. Comfort defends itself. Fear raises its voice. This is not failure. This is confirmation. You are pressing against a boundary that once contained you. Boundaries do not dissolve quietly. They push back. Pressure demands presence. It pulls you into the moment. You cannot escape into distraction when pressure is high. This is why it feels intense. It asks you to stay, to breathe, to engage fully. Pressure sharpens focus. It removes excess. It leaves only what matters. Feel the depth of this. Pressure is not chaotic. It is precise. It applies force exactly where growth is needed, like diamonds formed under force. Carbon does not become diamond in comfort. It transforms under extreme conditions. Time and pressure refine it. You are no different. Using pressure as fuel changes everything. Instead of avoiding it, you lean in. Instead of resisting, you stabilize. You breathe deeper. You stand firmer. Pressure becomes energy when you stop fighting it. It becomes strength when you carry it without collapse. Say it quietly, I hold pressure. Holding does not mean suffering. It means maintaining form, maintaining focus, maintaining direction while the load is present. This is advanced strength. This is control. There is a build happening. Each moment you stay under pressure without breaking, capacity increases. You realize you can handle more than you thought. This realization rewires fear. Fear shrinks when proven wrong. Pressure provides that proof. You grow stronger through repetition. One heavy moment alone does not transform you. Repeated exposure does. Each time you face pressure and remain steady, resilience forms. This is not emotional resilience alone. It is structural. It becomes part of you. Notice how your posture changes when you accept pressure. You stop collapsing. You stop tensing unnecessarily. You align. Alignment distributes force. This is true in the body and in life. When you align with pressure instead of fighting it, you move more efficiently. Relief does not come from removing pressure. It comes from adapting to it. When adaptation happens, pressure feels different. It feels manageable. It feels purposeful. You are no longer surprised by it. You expect it. You welcome it. Pressure reveals priorities. Under load, what matters becomes clear. Distractions fall away. Excuses lose volume. You focus on what moves you forward. Pressure simplifies decision-making. It strips away noise. Affirm it now. I grow stronger, not someday. Now, strength is built in the moment you endure with intention. Each breath under pressure is training. Each decision to stay is reinforcement. You are not meant to avoid pressure forever. You are meant to expand your capacity to hold it. As capacity grows, so does confidence. Confidence born from endurance is stable. It does not depend on conditions. It knows what you can handle. This chapter is not about seeking struggle for its own sake. It is about recognizing struggle as a signal that you are in the right place, that you are close to something new, that growth is occurring beneath the surface. Pressure teaches patience. It slows impulsive reactions and demands measured response. When pressure increases, rushing becomes costly. You learn to move deliberately, to choose carefully, to conserve energy. This refinement is part of growth. You are not being tested to see if you fail. You are being trained to move with control. Consider how the body adapts to heavier weight. At first, breathing shortens, muscles shake, focus narrows, then adaptation begins. Breath steadies, muscles coordinate, strength integrates. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. This adaptation does not happen without exposure. Avoiding the weight keeps you the same. Carrying it changes you. Pressure exposes weak patterns. Habits that worked in lighter conditions fail here. This is not a setback. It is information. Pressure reveals what must be strengthened, refined, or released. It shows you where discipline needs reinforcement and where focus must sharpen. This clarity is a gift. When resistance appears, the mind looks for escape, distraction, delay, rationalization. Notice this urge without obeying it. Staying present under pressure builds authority over impulse. You prove to yourself that discomfort does not control you. That awareness alone is confidence. Pressure also builds trust. Trust in your ability to remain steady. Trust in your capacity to adapt. Each time you endure, your internal reference point shifts. What once felt heavy becomes normal. What once seemed impossible becomes expected. This recalibration is how growth becomes permanent. There is power in recognizing patterns. Pressure often arrives just before progress becomes visible. The final repetitions burn the most. The last stretch demands the most focus. Many stop there. Those who continue experience the breakthrough, not because pressure vanished, but because they stayed. Use pressure as instruction. Ask what it is asking you to strengthen. Focus, endurance, precision, commitment. Pressure is specific. It targets exactly what is needed next. When you listen instead of resisting, development accelerates. Feel the steadiness forming now, not excitement, stability. You are learning to remain functional under load. This is leadership of self. Leaders do not crumble when weight increases. They adjust posture. They widen stance. They hold. Say it again, I hold pressure. Each repetition reinforces identity. You are not fragile, you are adaptable. You are not overwhelmed, you are expanding. Strength gained under pressure is transferable. It carries into other areas of life. Decisions feel easier. Challenges feel smaller. Your nervous system learns that intensity is survivable. This reduces fear at the root. Pressure also humbles ego. It reminds you that growth requires effort, that progress is earned. This humility keeps you grounded. It keeps you training. It keeps you improving instead of assuming arrival. Notice how pressure brings you closer to yourself. Distractions fade. Performance becomes honest. You meet your real capacity. From here, improvement is clear and measurable. No illusions, just work. This chapter deepens your relationship with difficulty. You no longer interpret it as threat. You recognize it as threshold, a doorway between who you were and who you are becoming. Pressure stands at that doorway. Affirm it again, I grow stronger. Each time you choose to stay, strength integrates deeper. This is not dramatic, it is durable. Remain here a moment longer. Let the pressure settle into familiarity, because soon what once felt heavy will feel normal, and when that happens you will be ready for more. Growth does not stop, it scales. Pressure is proof that you are moving forward, proof that limits are shifting, proof that strength is forming beneath the surface. Carry this understanding with it will change how you meet the next challenge. The weight is still present, the force is still applied, and you are still standing. That is not coincidence. That is capability revealing itself. Stay aware of this moment. Pressure has not broken you. It has shaped you. You are learning how to carry intensity without losing direction. This skill will follow you forward. When future demands increase, you will recognize the feeling. You will know what it means. You will not retreat. You will stabilize, breathe, and continue. Pressure will no longer signal danger. It will signal readiness. And as you step into what comes next, this understanding will remain with you, steady and unshakable. You have trained for this. You are prepared to carry more, to grow further, and to meet the next challenge with strength and clarity. Chapter 8. Leadership begins with you. Leadership does not begin when others follow you. It begins when you stop abandoning yourself, before titles, before recognition, before responsibility for anyone else. Leadership begins with how you speak to yourself, with how you act when no one is watching, with the standards you refuse to lower, even when it would be easier to do so. Settle into this truth. There is calm in it. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. Personal leadership is non-negotiable because without it, everything else collapses. Talent drifts. Discipline weakens. Vision fades. But when you lead yourself, progress stabilizes. Direction holds. You lead your thoughts. This is where it starts. Not by controlling every idea, but by deciding which ones deserve your attention. Thoughts shape emotion. Emotion influences action. When you lead your thoughts, you interrupt spirals. You redirect focus. You do not allow doubt to sit in command. You notice it, then you choose differently. This is leadership in its most private form. You lead your actions, not selectively, consistently. Leadership is not what you do on strong days. It is what you do on ordinary ones. Action reveals priorities. Excuses reveal gaps in leadership. Each time you follow through, you strengthen authority over yourself. Each time you delay unnecessarily, you weaken it. This is not judgment. It is awareness. You lead your standards. Standards decide outcomes long before effort does. Low standards ask little and receive little. High standards demand more and deliver more. Raising your standard is not about perfection. It is about refusing to settle for patterns that no longer match who you are becoming. Standards shape behavior without constant motivation. They create structure. There is depth here, a seriousness, because once you recognize that you are responsible for how you lead yourself, there is no one else to blame. This is not a burden. It is freedom. Freedom from waiting, freedom from excuses, freedom from dependence on external pressure. Self-command is the ability to direct yourself without force, without drama, without negotiation. You decide, then you act. You do not argue with your own commitments. You do not constantly renegotiate your values. You move in alignment with what you chose. This steadiness is rare, and it is powerful. Feel the build now. The awareness that leadership is already within your control. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You need consistency. Leadership grows through repetition, through small acts of integrity repeated daily, through keeping promises to yourself when breaking them would. Integrity through action is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not seek validation. It simply does what was agreed upon. Integrity is alignment between word and behavior. When alignment holds, confidence grows naturally. You trust yourself because you have evidence. That trust becomes unshakable. There is tension here because raising standards requires letting go of comfort. Old patterns resist change. Familiar behaviors argue for leniency. This is where leadership becomes real. When you hold the line anyway, when you raise the standard not because you feel inspired but because it is required. Lead yourself. Say it internally, not as a suggestion, as a command. Leadership is not aggressive, it is decisive. It does not shout, it directs. You are capable of directing yourself with clarity and restraint. Raise the standard, not dramatically, practically. What you tolerate sets the tone. What you allow continues. Raising the standard may feel uncomfortable at first. It may create friction. That friction is growth forming. Standards are not meant to feel easy. They are meant to feel solid. Feel the transformation peak rising. This is where responsibility fully shifts inward, where you stop outsourcing discipline, where you stop waiting for pressure from outside. You become the source. This moment is powerful because it is irreversible. Once you accept this role, you cannot unsee it. You notice your posture change, your attention sharpen, your language simplify, you move with intention. This is what leadership feels like internally. Calm, firm, grounded. You are no longer reactive. You are directed. Leadership also means restraint, knowing when not to act, knowing when to pause, knowing when to conserve energy. Self-command is not constant motion. It is intentional motion. You choose where to invest effort. You protect focus. You eliminate distractions that dilute standards. As standards rise, excuses lose space. They do not disappear overnight, but they lose authority. You hear them, but you do not follow them. You recognize them as signals of resistance, not instructions. Leadership listens, then decides. Relief comes here, not because responsibility is lighter, but because it is clear. You no longer feel pulled in multiple directions. You know what is expected of you because you set the expectation. Clarity replaces confusion. Direction replaces drift. Leadership of self creates momentum that does not rely on external pressure. You show up because it is who you are. You follow through because it is what you do. This identity stabilizes effort. It makes progress predictable. Notice how this changes how you view challenges. Obstacles become assignments. Pressure becomes instruction. Difficulty becomes feedback. Leaders do not ask why something is hard. They ask what is required. This question moves you forward. You are not becoming controlling. You are becoming consistent. You are not becoming rigid. You are becoming reliable. Reliability builds trust. Trust builds influence. Influence begins internally before it ever appears externally. Hold this identity. Leader of your thoughts, leader of your actions, leader of your standards. This is not a role you step into later. It is a role you are claiming now. Stay here in this authority, because leadership does not end at decision. It continues through follow-through, and the demands ahead will require this level of self-command. You have raised the standard. Now you must live it, and that requires precision. It requires focus. It requires the ability to eliminate what no longer serves execution. That work comes next. Chapter 9. Eliminate the weak patterns. There is a moment when awareness sharpens and comfort loses its hold. This is that moment. You have built discipline. You have learned to carry pressure. You have stepped into leadership of self. Now you look closely at what remains: patterns, quiet behaviors, repeated choices that no longer match who you are becoming. What you tolerate defines you, not what you intend, not what you believe, what you allow to continue. Begin calmly, without judgment. Patterns form for reasons. They once protected you, they once served you, but usefulness has an expiration date. When a pattern stops serving growth, it becomes sabotage. Not dramatic, subtle, small delays, soft excuses, familiar routines that drain momentum. These are not flaws, they are signal. Pattern interruption starts with noticing, not reacting. You observe where energy leaks, where execution slows, where discipline weakens. Weak patterns thrive in repetition without awareness. Awareness disrupts them immediately. Once you see a pattern clearly, it loses some power. It cannot hide in habit anymore. There is tension here, because removing patterns means removing comfort. Even unhelpful comfort feels familiar. Familiarity can feel safer than growth. This is why many people protect habits that limit them. They confuse familiarity with identity. But you are not your patterns. You are the one who chooses them. Self-sabotage rarely looks destructive on the surface. It looks reasonable. It sounds logical. It says not now. It says later. It says after one more adjustment. These phrases feel harmless. Repeated, they become anchors. They slow execution. They weaken trust in yourself. They keep you busy without moving forward. Cutting excuses at the root requires honesty, not harshness. Honesty. You do not need to fight excuses. You need to stop agreeing with them. Excuses survive on negotiation. When negotiation ends, excuses dissolve. They do not need to be argued. They need to be ignored. Feel the build now. The awareness that toleration is a choice. Every time you allow a weak pattern to continue, you reinforce it. Every time you interrupt it, you weaken it. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. Interrupting patterns once creates possibility. Interrupting them repeatedly creates change. Removing self-sabotage means simplifying. Fewer rules, clear standards, clean execution habits. Complexity gives weak patterns room to hide. Simplicity exposes them. When expectations are clear, excuses lose language. You know what needs to be done. You either do it or you do not. Clean execution habits are built through reduction. Remove unnecessary steps. Remove unnecessary options. Remove unnecessary debate. Decision leads to action. Action leads to completion. Completion reinforces identity. This loop strengthens with clarity. Clean habits reduce friction. Friction feeds delay. Notice where you hesitate unnecessarily. Notice where you distract yourself. Notice where you lower standards quietly. These moments matter. They shape outcome. Weak patterns do not require large changes to dismantle. They require interruption at the moment of choice. Pressure increases because this chapter asks you to take responsibility without excuses, to stop blaming circumstance, to stop waiting for conditions to improve. This is not punishment, it is empowerment. Responsibility returns control to you. You are not eliminating yourself. You are eliminating what no longer aligns. Patterns are behaviors, not identity. Removing them creates space. Space for better habits. Space for cleaner focus. Space for execution without drag. Say it internally. My excuses are gone, not as hope, as instruction. When excuses appear, you recognize them. You do not follow them. You do not engage. You redirect attention to action. Pattern interruption works best in the moment, not later. When you feel the pull to delay, you act instead. When you feel the urge to rationalize, you simplify. This creates immediate momentum. Momentum weakens sabotage. There is relief here, relief in simplicity, relief in clean choices. You stop carrying the mental weight of justification. You stop explaining, you act. This reduces cognitive load. Focus returns. Energy stabilizes. Building clean execution habits means reinforcing what works. When a behavior supports progress, repeat. When it does not, remove it. No emotion, no story, just alignment. Habits are systems. Systems respond to input. Change the input, change the outcome. Weak patterns often survive because they feel small, insignificant. But small behaviors repeated daily shape identity. Eliminate them, and identity shifts faster than expected. Progress accelerates quietly. Notice how this affects self-trust. Each time you interrupt a weak pattern, trust increases. You prove that you can correct course, that you are paying attention, that you are leading yourself actively. Trust compounds through these moments. You are not chasing intensity. You are building precision. Precision creates efficiency. Efficiency creates speed. Weak patterns slow systems. Clean systems move naturally. This is where maturity shows, not in ambition, in elimination. Knowing what to remove is as important as knowing what to add. Excess drains energy. Focus requires subtraction. Pressure peaks again because elimination demands decision. You cannot keep everything. You choose what stays. You choose what goes. This is leadership applied internally. My excuses are gone. Say it again. Each repetition reinforces command. Excuses lose credibility when you stop responding to them. Silence toward excuses is powerful. As weak patterns fall away, space opens. That space will be filled, either by intention or by habit. Choose intention. Install behaviors that support execution. Simple, repeatable, aligned. Notice how your days begin to feel cleaner. Fewer internal arguments. Clear starts, clean finishes. This is the result of elimination. You are no longer negotiating with yourself constantly. This chapter sharpens, it removes drag, it tightens execution. You move with less resistance. You feel lighter because you are carrying less. Hold this standard. What you tolerate defines you, and you are choosing definition deliberately now. This prepares you for the next shift. Because once weak patterns are gone, confidence no longer needs to be built. It emerges naturally from alignment. Stay aware, stay clean. The next level requires this clarity. Chapter 10. Execution creates confidence. Confidence has been misunderstood for too long. It is not a feeling you wait for. It is not something you are granted. It is not a personality trait reserved for a few. Confidence is built, quietly, relentlessly, through action. You do not wait to feel strong. Strength comes after movement. always has, always will. Settle into this truth. Let it remove pressure. You are not required to feel confident before you act. That expectation has held you back before. You waited for a signal that never arrived. But confidence does not send invitations. It follows effort. It shows up after you move. Action simplifies everything. When you act, the mind stops spinning. When you act, doubt loses leverage. When you act, you replace imagination with reality. Reality is manageable. Imagination is infinite. Execution grounds you. It gives you something solid to stand on. There is calm here, a quiet reassurance. You no longer need to perform confidence. You only need to execute. Execution does not ask how you feel. It asks what you will do next. This removes confusion. It removes comparison. It centers you in progress. Confidence is a byproduct, like heat from fire, like strength from training. You do not chase the byproduct. You build the source. Action is the source. Every completed task, every follow-through, every decision honored adds weight to your presence. Not loudly, internally. You feel tension when this idea challenges old habits. You were taught to wait until you felt ready, until fear was gone, until certainty arrived. But fear does not leave first. Confidence does not appear first. Action goes first. Emotion follows behavior, not the other way around. Movement creates strength because movement creates evidence. Evidence matters. Evidence tells your mind that you are capable. One action alone is small. Repeated action changes perception. You stop questioning yourself because you have proof. Proof silences doubt more effectively than reassurance ever could. Execution creates confidence because execution creates trust. Trust in yourself. Trust that you can handle outcomes. Trust that you can recover if something goes wrong. This trust is earned, not imagined. It is earned through experience. Feel the build now. The realization that confidence has been forming quietly behind you, with every habit cleaned up, with every decision honored, with every moment you did not quit. You may not have noticed it, but it is there, stable, grounded, real. Strength follows movement. This applies to the body and the mind. Muscles strengthen after strain. Confidence strengthens after effort. Avoiding action keeps you weak. Engaging builds capacity. Capacity becomes confidence. Imagine walking with certainty, not arrogance, not urgency, certainty. Your steps are steady, your posture relaxed. You are not rushing, you are not hesitating, you trust your pace. You trust your direction. That certainty is not imagined. It is built from thousands of small executions. Future pacing sharpens focus. See yourself moving through challenges without internal chaos. Decisions feel cleaner. Adjustments feel natural. You do not panic when plans change. You respond. That response is confidence in action. There is pressure here, because this chapter removes excuses. You can no longer say you lack confidence as a reason to wait. You understand now that waiting delays confidence. Action accelerates it. Execution does not mean everything works perfectly. It means you show up anyway. It means you learn. It means you refine. Each cycle builds familiarity. Familiarity reduces fear. Fear reduction increases confidence. Transformation peak rises now. This is where understanding turns into commitment, where you stop asking how to feel and start asking what to do. This shift is powerful because it is practical. You can apply it immediately. Take a moment. Recall a time you acted despite uncertainty. Notice how confidence followed, not instantly, but soon. That pattern was real. It still applies. Nothing has changed except your willingness to trust it. Confidence gained through execution is durable. It does not collapse under pressure. It does not depend on praise. It holds because it is rooted in experience. You know what you can handle because you have handled it. This confidence also humbles. It does not inflate ego. It grounds you. You are not trying to prove anything. You are simply doing what you know you can do. This steadiness is magnetic. Execution also teaches restraint. You learn when to act and when to wait. Confidence does not mean constant movement. It means appropriate movement, knowing when to push, knowing when to adjust. That discernment comes only through doing. Notice how your inner dialogue changes as execution increases. Less noise, less self-doubt, more clarity, more presence. Confidence simplifies thought. It reduces unnecessary questioning. You are no longer building belief through words. You are rebuilding it through behavior. Behavior does not lie. Behavior accumulates. Each action leaves a mark. This chapter reinforces a truth you can return to any time. When confidence dips, act. When doubt appears, execute. When fear rises, move forward deliberately. Action is the remedy. Feel the relief here. You are not required to feel powerful to move. You move and power follows. This removes pressure. It gives you control. Confidence also accelerates speed. When you trust yourself, decisions come faster. You do not stall. You do not overanalyze. You act. Speed and confidence reinforce each other. The version of you who executes consistently does not question their worth. They are too engaged, too present. Confidence is no longer something they seek. It is something they carry. Hold this understanding. Let it settle deep. Confidence is not missing. It is under construction. Every action you take adds another layer. As you move forward, challenges will continue. That does not threaten confidence. It builds it. Each challenge met reinforces capability. Each recovery strengthens trust. You are no longer chasing a feeling. You are building a foundation. That foundation holds. Stay in motion. Keep executing. Confidence will keep following. And as it grows, you will notice something else emerging. Not just belief, but certainty. Certainty in who you are. Certainty in how you move. That certainty prepares you for the final shift. Because confidence built through execution does not end in comfort. It leads to ownership. And ownership changes everything. Chapter 11, You Win Faster Now. This is where everything comes together. Not suddenly, not magically, but inevitably. You have built momentum. You have trained discipline. You have learned to move under pressure. You have eliminated weak patterns. You have executed when doubt appeared. Now speed and discipline meet. And when they meet, dominance forms. There is calm here at first, a grounded confidence. You are no longer searching for direction. You are moving in it. Momentum is not rushed energy. It is sustained motion. It is effort that no longer needs constant ignition. You are already moving, and movement carries you forward. Speed alone is not enough. Discipline alone is not enough. Speed without discipline scatters. Discipline without speed stalls. Together they create force, controlled force, reliable force, force that compounds. Speed plus discipline equals dominance because nothing is wasted. Decisions are made, actions follow, results accumulate. Everything you have practiced converges now. The hesitation that once slowed you has lost its grip. The excuses that once delayed you no longer negotiate. Your systems are cleaner. Your standards are higher. Your identity is stable. You are not trying to become someone else. You are acting as who you are now. Momentum feels different at this stage. It is quieter, less emotional, more certain. You do not need to convince yourself to move. Movement is default. Execution is familiar. You trust the process because you have lived it. Identity locks in through repetition. You are no longer experimenting with discipline. You are no longer testing execution. You are living it. This is important. Identity is not claimed once. It is reinforced daily, and your daily actions now align. Fast execution becomes lifestyle here. Not urgency, not impatience, efficiency, clarity. You see what matters faster. You remove what does not faster. You act without dragging decisions through unnecessary thought. There is tension again, a final tightening, because this level demands ownership. You can no longer pretend to be unsure. You know what you are capable of. You know what works. Responsibility increases with clarity. This is not pressure to retreat from. This is pressure to step fully into. Move, let the command cut through noise. Movement keeps momentum alive. Stopping now would feel unnatural. You have trained past that point. Movement is not effort anymore. It is expression. Decide. Decision sharpens momentum. Indecision fractures. You decide quickly because you trust correction. You trust adjustment. You trust yourself. Decisions no longer carry fear. They carry direction. Winning here is not comparison. It is alignment. Winning is execution matched with intention. It is progress made consistently. It is knowing you are advancing because you are engaged. Feel the transformation peak rise. This is the highest convergence point, where discipline, speed, confidence, and identity align. You are not pushing harder. You are moving cleaner. You are not chasing results. You are producing them. Momentum accelerates when resistance decreases. Resistance decreases when habits are clean. Clean habits remove drag. You feel this now. Less internal debate, less emotional friction, more flow. You are not perfect. You are precise. Precision beats intensity over time. Precision allows speed without chaos. Precision allows discipline without rigidity. This balance is rare, and it is powerful. Affirm it now. I choose greatness. Choosing greatness is not a feeling. It is a behavior. It is choosing action over delay, standards over convenience, growth over comfort. Say it again. I execute. Execution is your signature now. Not intention, not planning, follow through. You finish what you start. You move when it matters. Winning faster does not mean skipping steps. It means removing waste, removing delay, removing self-doubt as a decision maker. You respect time, you respect effort, you respect momentum. Notice how challenges feel different now. They do not intimidate, they instruct. You respond instead of reacting. You adapt instead of freezing. Speed allows correction before damage accumulates. Discipline ensures you do not abandon direction. You are no longer hoping momentum returns. You are generating it daily, quietly, consistently. Momentum is no longer fragile. It is resilient. Dominance does not mean control over others. It means control over self, over attention, over effort, over response. This is the highest form of power. It cannot be taken. It must be maintained. Maintenance is simple now. Execute, adjust, continue. You do not complicate what works. You refine it, you protect it, you repeat it. Relief arrives here, not because effort ends, but because effort aligns. You are no longer fighting yourself. Energy flows forward. You feel capable without tension, focused without strain. This is the version of you that acts without announcement, that moves without hesitation, that finishes without drama. This is not a temporary state. It is a system you have built. Speed plus discipline keeps you ahead of doubt, ahead of fear, ahead of stagnation. When others hesitate, you are already adjusting. When others wait, you are already learning. This is why you win faster now. Not because you rush, but because you do not stall. You respect momentum too much to waste it. Hold this identity. Carry it forward. Every environment you enter will feel different because you are different. You bring clarity. You bring execution. You bring movement. The journey does not end here. It stabilizes. And from stability, scale becomes possible. Larger goals, heavier responsibility, greater impact. But the foundation is set. You move, you decide, you execute, you win. Stay in motion. Final conclusion. You have reached the point where hesitation no longer defines you. Not because fear disappeared, but because it lost authority. You learned how to move before comfort. You learned how to act without waiting for permission. You learned how to trust action more than thought. This journey was never about becoming someone. It was about uncovering who you already were beneath delay, doubt, and noise. You no longer stand at the edge wondering if you should move. You move, calmly, deliberately, with purpose. Look back for a moment. Notice how different your posture feels now. Your decisions are cleaner. Your standards are firmer. You are not rushing and you are not waiting. You are present. You are engaged. You lead your thoughts instead of being led by them. You lead your actions instead of negotiating. This is not motivation. This is identity in motion. You are no longer preparing to begin. You are already in it. There is victory, not loud, not dramatic, solid, earned. You prove to yourself that you can carry pressure, that you can show up without emotion, that you can execute without validation. You learn that confidence follows movement, that discipline outlasts motivation, that speed when trained becomes precision. These lessons did not stay in your mind. They moved into your behavior, and behavior changes everything. Imagine the path ahead now, not perfectly mapped, but clear enough. You walk with certainty because you trust adjustment. You do not fear mistakes because you recover quickly. You do not stall because momentum carries you forward. This is leadership, not over others, over yourself. and that leadership will echo into every area of your life. This is who you are now. Stand tall, feel the weight of that command. You are grounded, you are capable, you are no longer shrinking from responsibility. Execute. Let action remain your language. Let follow through remain your signature. Win faster, not by rushing but by refusing to delay, by protecting momentum, by honoring standards. Say it now, I rise, feel it in your body, say it again. I decide who I become. This is not hope, it is choice. And say it one last time with clarity, I am ready, ready to move, ready to lead, ready to continue. Carry this forward. Let action remain your answer. Let identity guide your decisions. This journey does not end here, it stabilizes, and from that stability everything expands. You made it to the end. That already says something about you. Most people stop early. You stayed. If this audiobook challenged you, if it sharpened your focus, if it reminded you of who you're becoming, then don't let this be a one-time moment. This channel exists for people who choose growth, discipline over comfort, clarity over noise, progress over excuses. If you want more audiobooks like this, more mindset training, more leadership, more inner strength, subscribe, like this video so it reaches the people who need it, and share it with someone who's ready to rise but hasn't found the words yet. Stay consistent, protect your mind, and keep moving forward. This is only the beginning.